Hi, everybody out there. Well, today is Earth Day, and we are going to, it's a great day to do some planting and do some good things for the earth. So happy Earth Day, everybody, and let's get growing. Whoops, that was supposed to land on the floor. Oh, there we go. So we've got a 2-liter bottle planter to make, and then a plastic bottle watering can. Perfect for what you need to get things growing on Earth Day. So let's get started. I brought along a couple of different 2-liter bottles, showing you what you need here today. And for the watering cans, you could use a 2-liter bottle, but you know, if you don't have one, something smaller that's plastic with a lid will do. And I brought some potting soil here in my bucket. I brought some water, some paper towel. And we're going to decorate our 2-liter bottles with some acrylic paints. So I've got several different cool colors of acrylic paints, and you want to use acrylic paints because if you use just regular craft paints, if it rains and your planters are outside, it's going to wash away. So this will make it so it will stay. I have some yarn because one of the planters we're going to make is a hanging planter. So we'll use some yarn for that. And I have a hole punch so we can punch a hole in the plastic and hang it up. And I have a pair of scissors, and I have some tape because of the way we're going to decorate one of the planters. And I brought some brushes for my paint. Oh, and some seeds. And then I have a little plant ready to plant in the top of one of our planters. So let's start with a 2-liter bottle hanging planter first. So I took the label off of that one, but that's the first thing that you want to do is take the label off your 2-liter bottle. And I have a pair of scissors, so we'll do that. And I just cut it, pull it right off, and peel it. Whoa, peel it, peel it, peel it. This one is just a little tough, but oops. Peel it off, and then you'll have a clear bottle that you can paint. You're done. There. So you can have some fun peeling away all of the plastic label. Whoa! Some is still stuck there, so you can work on that. Ooh. Okay, there we go. I'm getting there. Get it nice and clear. That's going to take a little bit of work to peel off all the pieces of plastic. So we'll start with the one that I already peeled earlier and show you what to do. Now this one is going to be the hanging planter, and the top is going to be the bottom. So we're going to hold it upside down, and what we're going to do is cut off the bottom. There's always the ruffly looking bottom, and so that's the part that we're going to cut off. So I'll take and put that on my table. And kids, if you need some help with an adult to cut the plastic, we don't want you to get hurt, you can ask for an adult's help, or a way to do it is the wiggle method. You take the point of the scissors and pick a spot on your 2-liter bottle where you want to start cutting, and you wiggle, 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 and see how it went through? It went through inside the bottle. So now you can take your scissors and use them regular cutting method. Cut all around the bottom. There's a line on your bottle that you can see, and you can cut it all around and around and around until you reach where you started. And there you go. And there it is. The bottom is cut off. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is make sure that there aren't any sharp edges sticking out there, because you don't want to get cut. So trim off some of the sharper plastic pieces. There we go. And now we're going to want to be able to hang this because it's going to look really cool. So I'm taking my hole punchers, and I am going to punch a hole so I can put some yarn on it to hang, or string. You can do string too. I'm going to go right down about that far and punch a hole right directly across it. I'm punching another hole. That should do it. Okay, All right, so the next thing to do is decorate it. And so I have some acrylic paints, and I'm going to switch to my tabletop camera so that you can see how I'm painting it. Now, you don't want to put the yarn in for the hanger yet, because if you do, when you paint it, the yarn's going to get all paint. And we'll do that last, even though it might have to wait till it dries, but we'll do it. So here is the tabletop camera, and let's work on painting. We're going to work on painting my 2-liter bottle. So a lot of times I like to put my paints on a paper plate, so I have them handy so I can use my brush and do what I want. So I'm squirting out some yellow. Whoops, I'm squirting out some yellow. And I'm squirting out some blue. These are just the colors that I happen to have here today. And I'm going to squirt out some red. These are all nice, great, bright colors. And I also have some black for some highlights. Black is always a fun color. If you've got lots of bright colors, you can put black details on it and make it show up. And a little bit of white, because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Maybe I'll do some daisy flowers on it. But we'll see. So there's some white that I'm squirting onto my plate. There we go. So I decided that maybe I would like to do some geometric designs on my planner. And that's where my tape is going to come in handy. I got my paint already. And I'm going to set that aside for just a second so I have some room to work and make geometric designs on my 2-liter bottle here. So I've got some tape, some masking tape. And I'm going to put some lines on my planner all the way around it. So I'm pulling out some tape here and placing it on my 2-liter bottle, maybe stripes and lines. So I'm putting it around like that all the way around my planner, and it's gonna, oh, it didn't quite meet at the end. So I need another piece of tape right there. So I am gonna do some stripes and lines on my planner. So there's one. And I'm pulling out some more tape, and this time I'm gonna do a longer piece so it'll meet where I put it. And I am going to put it on a little bit below. This is going to be a stripy planner, and I'm wrapping it all around my bottle. This time I pulled out too much. So I'm going to pull it apart, put it down. Now I'm going to have stripes. So then maybe I want vertical stripes here on the bottom. There's the end. That's, like I said, the top is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to put a stripe right there, and maybe another 2 stripes all around it on the bottom. So I'll show you how I did that again. Right there. So I've got 2 stripes there, and one more to go. So now we're going to start painting. This is going to be cool. Pulling off one more piece of tape and putting that on the bottom. Now this tape is only a placeholder. It's not going to stay. We're going to paint around it. So the paint's going to be in the sections that we didn't take. So here are my colors. Back again. And here is my brush. And let's paint it up. Now, the good thing about the bottom is you can hold on to it while you're painting and not get all painty. So what should I paint first? I think I will paint some of these sections down here. And what color? I think I will do yellow first. And I'm going to paint my whole bottle in this section yellow. And like I said, the tape is the placeholder. So as you're painting around, you paint up to the tape lines, and then it will show when we take off the tape. Guess what? There won't be any paint where we put the tape because it'll block out the lines. There we go. So there is my yellow. So what should I do next? Now you can rinse out your brush. I forgot to say we needed a rinser, a brush rinser. I'm going to do red. And since I don't have my brush rinser outer, it might turn a little orange, but that's okay because this is fun. So now I'm painting a red section on my planner. This is going to be really cool looking. And painting it up to my tape lines. And those are going to be nice and straight. See how I'm doing that? Painting all. And it's okay if you get a little bit of paint on the tape because when you pull off the tape, it'll be nice and clear on that side. Okay, so there we go. So I have yellow, I have red, and let's see. Oh, we got to do blue, right? So I'm taking the blue paint and I'm painting in my last section. There we go. And you know what? The blue of my paint is almost the same color as my tape. Isn't that funny? So that's looking cool. I can hardly tell where I painted, but that's okay. So here we go, down to the end. So now I have blue and red and yellow on the bottom of my planner. So now I have some stripes up here. And I think I want some green. So what I'm going to do with my brush is take a little scoop of yellow and a little scoop of blue and mix it together. And oh yeah, I got some green. I do, I got some green, so I'm gonna put that in the middle for my stripes. Now, you could paint this whole section the same color if you want, or if you get tired of painting it all one color, you could take and rinse out your brush and decide that, I think maybe I want some orange. So then you would take some red and some yellow and start painting some orange. Woo, that's a good color. All around and in between your tape lines. That's going to be cool. Whoops, I need some more orange. That turned out a little brown, but that's okay. Brown is a great color. And so now I have one big section here, and I want that to be a really cool color. So I'm going to get a different brush now. I think I'm going to do white. What will that look like? All right, so here we go. That's going to be great. Then I'm going to fill it all in. White is a lighter color, so I'm going to make sure I got enough paint on that. Oops. And that's going to be good all the way around. And I got one more stripe to fill in. I wonder what color I would like to do with that. Maybe all red. What do you think? I love red. There we go. So I'm painting this whole thing up here. Oops, filling it all in. There we go, there we go, there we go. And so it looks kind of funny right now, but wait, you just wait till I take off the tape here in a minute. Okay, so I got one more stripe to paint up here. I absolutely love yellow. So, and it's a nice sunny color. So that's what I'm gonna do up here, all around the whole top, yellow, 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 yellow. And you notice how I'm not worried about if I smudge the color onto my tape, because the tape is the placeholder. I already said that, and I just painted over my the hole that I punched. So here we go. I'm almost halfway done painting this all around. Here we go. Yellow, 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 yellow. I'm doing it. Oops. All the way around. And filling it in. It's almost done. And it's looking quite messy over the tape, but it'll turn out. I know it will. Okay. There we go. Oh, yellow, 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 yellow. Oops, yellow, yellow. Ta-da. Okay, that's looking pretty good. All right, so now, you know, when you have paint, you gotta let it dry. So before I do anything with pulling the tape off, I'm gonna set this aside and let it dry. And I'm going to come back to FaceTime and show you what to do, what we're going to do when it does get dry. I hope that will stand up. No, it won't, so I'm going to turn it over. Okay, so back to FaceTime, and let's do the next step while we're waiting for that step to dry. Okay, here we go. Okay. There we go. All right, so here it is. Gonna wait for it to dry. Setting it down over here so it'll stand up and dry while we're working on something else. So here is my other 2-liter bottle that I didn't finish pulling off all of the label yet. So we're gonna show you, you know, you could do a hanging planter, or you could do a planter that would sit on your table or your porch or whatever. So we're going to cut one of those and go on to another type of planter. So with this one, the top really is the top and the bottom really is the bottom. And this time, well, I'm going to leave that on there because it's easier to cut when you trap the air inside the bottle. This time I'm going to cut off the top. So here we go. And again, if you have an adult handy, because it's hard to cut through the plastic, you can have them help you, or you can use the wiggle method. There, it wiggled and it went right through. That was easy at that time. So I am going to cut off the top of this 2-liter bottle. Just around and around until you come back where you poke that hole and start it. And again, yeah, you always want to cut off the edges. So that's going to sit right on the table. Now you could paint that right now, but I already showed you a little example of painting. So I think what we're going to do now is fill this with dirt. So we're going to make a really cool planter. So you want to get out some potting soil. And you can put a little bit of rocks in the bottom too for drainage if you like. I didn't happen to have any right now, so I'm putting this planter filled up with some dirt all the way to the top here. That's a lot of dirt, right? I hope I have enough. And I'm making a huge mess. Okay, so there we go. Dirt, dirt, dirt. And if your potting soil is dry, guys, you want to put a little bit of water in there to make it nice and damp for anything that you planted, any seeds or plants. You know, you might have some plants. Whoa. Okay, so is it to the top yet? Not quite. Coming up there. Coming up, and I am making a huge mess with dirt on my table, but that's the fun of it. Okay, so this one, if you're planting, you always want to do the painting before you fill it up with dirt, because paint and dirt is an interesting mixture and dirt will stick to the paint and everything. So now this one, if you're doing a planter that sits on the table, you'd have already painted it like we painted this one here. And so this is just the planting step. So like I said, we're going to want to make it a little bit damp, so I'm going to put some water in there and maybe use my shovel to like mix it a little bit, add some more until it feels pretty damp. There we go, a little bit. You've planted things probably before, so you know, kind of have to judge to see if it feels wet or dry or damp. Just right for planting a seed. So what do you want to plant in your planter? Now, if you're doing a hanging planter, you want some plants that kind of hang and drip down, or kind of hang down. And so a little bit later, I'm going to put some morning glory seeds in here because that's a vine and it will kind of grow up and then tangle around. It'll be really pretty. But I also have some pole beans. That would be a good thing to plant in a planter like this that hangs, because pole beans sort of have some winding around vines and the beans hang off of it. So that would be a really good one. Or, you know, just any plant that you happen to have. And so a little bit different with a planter that sits on the table. You could plant just about anything. You could plant something viney, or if you have a little plant already, what I'm going to do is plant the plant that I bought, or I actually dug this from outside my house. I have a little plant that I can put in there. And I am going to make a little hole and then pull out a clump of my plants. They have some dirt already attached to their roots. Whoa, I'm going to stick it in there and stick my plants down inside the little hole that I made, and put some more dirt on top. A little bit of dirt that they came out of. And the plants will really like it. You really like it when you cover up the roots down in the deep soil. So there we go. So that's going to be a really cute little planter, especially because you would have decorated it with paint first. So now let's take a look. There we go. Oh yeah, a little bit of water. Always, always, always. For your plant. A little bit of water right on top. There we go. So that will look really cool, especially after you've painted it. I just did it just now. So now back to this one. Let's take off the tape and see how our painting job worked out. Okay, so I'm pulling off the tape and setting it down. Whoa, look at that. Let me pull off another piece of tape here. Now this isn't quite dry, but it will be in a few minutes. And there I pulled off some more tape. And I'm going to pull off this stripe. There we go. Oh, look, that's looking cool. And now to find the end of where I started this tape, that may be the tricky part. I'm going to pull off one of my stripes. Uh-oh, it didn't all come off. But see how the paint didn't stick to where my tape stripes were? Whoa, there we go. Cool, really stripey, I love it. One more to pull off. This is the hardest one because I kind of messed it up a little. There you go, whoops. One more to pull off. Okay, whoops. I'm going to cut because I'm having trouble ripping. I think I got my tape kind of wet. So there we go. There we go. I got it now. There, and it's gorgeous. Look at that. What a great looking planter. And you can do that with tape resist art. So now, after it's dry, the thing you want to do is to take your yarn and string it through the holes. I'm going to put that there. String it through the holes and hang it up. So I like purple, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut off a couple of big long strings because I'm going to hang it from the ceiling of my porch. And you can do this with string. I happen to have some yarn, putting it over there. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick it through that hole. And this is, my yellow paint's pretty dry. Pull it through and tie a knot right at the top. There is a little bit of wet yellow paint, but you can, if you're patient, before you tie on the tie, you can wait for a minute and you won't get fingers that are all painty like I'm doing. Here we go. There's one. Okay. And then I'm going to do the other side too with my other piece of yarn. Just right through there. And around and pull it through. Nice good old loopy knot. One and two. The more things you do with yarn and knots and tying, the better you get at it. So now you got it like this, and you can hold your two ends together and tie a loopy knot at the top and pull it through. And then if you have a hook somewhere like out on your porch, you can hook it right over there and you have a great looking hanging planter. Now, then you get to the step where you either plant a plant in it like we did before or some seeds. And this, like I said, this would be a great one for pole beans or morning glories or something with a vine that hangs down. So there you go. Those are our planters. So now that you've planted some plants, you need to take care of those plants, right? Of course, that's the fun part, watching them every day, making sure they have enough water. So we're going to make our own watering can out of a smaller plastic bottle. That's what we're going to do next. And got to get my dirt out of the way a little bit. Okay, so how are we going to do this? This is a plastic bottle that I have, and it's got a lid. That's very important. And I'm going to take the label off, maybe with my scissors, or you can kind of pick at it and tear it with your fingers. But of course, this label's coming off a lot easier than the 2-liter bottle one did. So here we go. And what you're going to want to do is paint it. Lots of cool designs. And so back over here, I have my tape and my paint. And I painted geometric designs on my hanging planter. But this one, you can just plant and paint something, kind of anything that's in your head to paint. So maybe I'll plant some or paint some flowers. So I planted some flowers. So now I'm going to paint some flowers on my watering can. And this will be the top. This will be the bottom. So I'm going to draw some red flowers on my can. And I think I'll change to the tabletop camera so you can see it better. Here we go. Okay. Oh, that did get a little messy, didn't it? That's all the tape I pulled off. So now I'm just going to draw with paint on my cool watering can. I'm going to draw some flower petals. Look at that. I've got a red flower going on here. That's going to be good. And then I think I need a yellow center to my flower. So I got some yellow paint, and there it is. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint red flowers all over my watering can just by making petals. They're going to look great, just like roses maybe, or I don't know, but there's a flower. Can you see the petals? And I'm going to put a yellow center right in the middle. There it is. It's a flower. And you know what? I got some blue paint over here too. So I think maybe, oops, my tape got in the way. Here we go. I'm going to use my blue paint and paint a blue flower right here. Okay. Blue, 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 blue. And I like white center for this one. So I have a little bit of white paint. I'm going to do a white center right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to do another blue flower over here. Okay, blue petals all around. And a white center again. Dink, right in the middle. There we go. And so now I'm going to put some leaves on these. And before, I had mixed blue and yellow together to make green. And we got some more of that going on. So I'm going to draw vines and stems in green all over my bottle. Now you could do anything you like, but I'm just doing flowers and green stems and leaves, connecting all of my flowers. But you probably have some other great ideas to paint on your watering can. There we go. This is looking really good. I love the green stems and leaves that I'm painting. That is looking good. All right, a little bit more green. and around and around and around. Okay, so how is this going to be? I mean, it's pretty and everything, but how is this going to be a watering can? Because watering cans, you have to sprinkle water. And there's a really cool way. We don't have to poke any holes in the hard top. We're going to poke some holes in the side of the jar. So back to the FaceTime camera we go, and I'll show you how to do it. So here's my other bottle, and here's the way this turned out. Looking good. You could even write your name on there, but I've got lots of flowers, and this is going to be the greatest watering can ever as soon as it dries. But I'm going to borrow the lid because when we're going to poke some holes in the plastic, this one already has some poked in. I don't know if you can see that, see the holes. We're going to poke some, and I'll show you how to do that with this bottle. So of course I'm going to take off the label so we can see it better. And if you need an adult to help you with this, this would be a good one because we're going to be working with something sharp. But we want to poke some holes right on the top of the bottle, or if this was a 2-liter bottle, you would be poking it right here, right on the top of the cap, either one. But I just happen to have a shorter bottle, so I'm going to show you with this one. And we're going to use something sharp, so if you need some help from an adult, ask for it. But I'm going to show you the wiggle way to do it. So right here, I'm going to set my 2-liter bottle down, and I have a Phillips head screwdriver. See how it's kind of pointy? Yeah, it's pointy right on the end. And so I'm going to hold it right on the, I'm going to call that the shoulder of the bottle, and I'm going to wiggle that point right down it. Wiggle, 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 until that sharp point decides that it's gonna go through. And it's taken a while. I just heard it. Did you hear it snap? I did. So now that I've made a starting of a hole, now I can take the whole Phillips head screwdriver and stick it down in there, and I have a hole. See the hole right there? And it's important to leave the lid on while you're doing it because the air pressure helps make the plastic stiffer and not collapse when you're trying to poke a hole in it. Now, there are other things you can do instead of a Phillips head screwdriver. You could use a big old screw bolt, and that works too. And it's really sharp at the end. It's even sharper than my Phillips head. So we're going to put maybe 6 holes right here where the water can come out. So I'm going to use the screw method by holding onto my screw, holding that point right in there and poking it until it goes through, and it just went through. I got a hole in there. Now I can't get it out. I have to pull it. Okay, but this is a smaller hole. So I am going to make that hole bigger by using the hole I made with the screw and sticking my Phillips head down there. Now I have 2 holes. We're going to do about 6 holes actually. And was a little faster with my screw. It made a hole faster. So that's what I'm going to use right now. Now, another thing you could do is, if you're an adult, I don't want the kids to do this, you could take a nail and hold onto it with a pair of tongs and heat it up over your stove and melt a hole through those. But that's probably something the kids don't want to do. So here we go. Another couple of holes and we'll be good. And I'll show you how this is going to be a watering can. Okay, so I got about 6 holes there. Right on the, can you see the holes? There you go. Those are the holes. That's where the water is going to come out. So we're going to put some water in it. So this, with the holes in it, now you could paint it and make it really pretty. Write your name on it, whatever. We're going to put some water in our watering can. And it's really fun just to hang on to it and water and take care of the plants that you planted or the seeds that you planted. So put the lid on and then water the plants. Taking care of the plants. So there we go. And as you tip it over, whoa, there we go. The water drools out and you can water your plants. Now, sometimes what happens is the water pressure holds the water in there. So there we go. There we go. And I just watered my plants. So watering can and a planter for all those plants and seeds that you're going to plant today on Earth Day. Pretty cool. And I can't wait till it dries to put some dirt in here and plant my pole beans. It's going to be great, hanging right up on my front porch. So thanks for coming to Kids Craft Lab today, and happy Earth Day, everyone. And enjoy, have fun experimenting with 2-liter bottle planters, doing a little bit of seeds for the earth and also recycling for the plastic on Earth Day. Join us again next time. Thank you. Something I had never ever seen before. And here's where you get to make a choice. Was it a giant Tyrannosaurus Rex? And I'm just gonna stick some pine cones in my box, and then the fun starts. I just start rolling them around. Air rushing out of the balloon is going to push that balloon up. So let's see what happens. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. So that's how rockets kind of work. We are going to build 2 different kinds of rockets today.